So here, engagement in prohibited activities. That's this is a very very interesting section here. So, in order to explore whether they had possessed long-standing difficulties with Islamic restrictions, okay, respondents were asked about how often they had engaged in various haram or prohibited activities before their apostasy. Okay, so here on the left, they're basically talking about alcohol. So percentage who engaged in alcohol consumption, and also premarital sexual activity and pork consumption before apostatizing. All right. So when it comes to alcohol consumption, 31% of them said we drank alcohol all the time before we apostatized. So when they were Muslim, 31% of them were drinking alcohol all the time. Okay, 70% or 70% were sometimes. When forced, I'm not sure who's forcing them to drink alcohol.
I think what they meant is peer pressure, like maybe work or like being toasted, or maybe their Kafir friends, or maybe their family members. Maybe they were hiding that. Maybe these.
But if that's the case, I'm wondering why they didn't put peer pressure, because that would have been a more descriptive.
Well, let me give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say maybe they became Muslims and they were hiding their Islam from their family, and let's say it's a Jewish Shabbat dinner, and they had to have wine, something like this. You know what I mean? Maybe they were forced in that way. I don't know what that means, but I think it means culturally forced, not physically forced to have it. But what's interesting is, what the hell does "as possible" mean? Like all the time, and what does that mean?
Like, for example, if they're on the job. So that would, that would include. It's not possible for me to drink alcohol when I'm, But if they're at home, then that would be.
So but then all the time, I'm assuming the people said all the time meant that. They were not drinking on the job. I think that's possible.
We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless maybe I think they meant to say as much as possible, meaning that if they were outside of the normal work areas, or whatever, if they were maybe living with family, maybe they went out to a party and drank as much as they could if they weren't partying or something like that. I don't know, but yeah.
But here's the interesting thing to take from this: 53% of them drank alcohol before they became ex-Muslims.
Yeah,
they were Muslims, right? 53% of them were drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
All right. So that's crazy. That's crazy. When it comes to premarital sexual activity, it's even crazier, because as you see here, 43% said never. We never engaged in premarital sex when we were Muslims, which means that 57% of them were engaging in premarital sex.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they were Muslims. Yeah, 57% of them were doing zina, and 53% of them were drinking alcohol when they were Muslim, which kind of gives you a real idea of their devoutness, because the garbage that we saw here was meaningless. To me, that's meaningless. How much how devout were you compared to your environment? That's meaningless. This here is much more meaningful to me. Right. So because zina is like a major sin, drinking alcohol is very severe. I'm not sure if it's a major sin or not, to be honest with you. I forgot.
It's not but it's not kufr, but still, if you accept that it is allowed, then it becomes. If you say that it's not haram, then of course it's kufr. Yeah. But nonetheless, it's one of those sins that lead and open the doors to other major sins. So it's still an evil vice.
Yeah. And pork consumption was like a no-no for these ex-Muslims, like mashallah.
Yeah, look at they're so religious, they're so devout, they didn't eat pork. Mashallah.
Alcohol and zina are okay, but pork, no. We can't tolerate this.
So this is, from this, what I'm understanding is that, to be honest, they were just cultural Muslims. Because if you weren't culturally Muslim, why would you stay away from pork?
Exactly. It's like you never, your parents never brought you pork from the supermarket, and they always in gatherings and parties they usually stayed away from pork, and you basically copied them, and that's how you were brought up.
And also the problem with this data, also they should have split it up by age, because what you want a 16-year-old to be having regular sex all the time or drinking alcohol? I mean, I don't understand. Like, how do we divide? I mean, how is this important? I mean, the data doesn't apply the same for all these groups, right? Because a 16-year-old can't certainly drink alcohol, right? How does an 18? I mean, they're not legal.
I think the minimum age. Let's go back to age. So the minimum age was 18. Okay, so all these people were 18 or older.
They still can't drink alcohol. At 21, you have to drink alcohol. So, I mean, again, this is not represented.
Really? So it's not 18? The minimum age of drinking is not 18?
Not in America. It's maybe 18 in Canada, but in America, 21.
Oh.
Yeah, so another problem
with the
study. Yeah, so that is an issue, right? They're not accurately representing. They're trying to lump all of this data among all age groups, categories, demographics, and that's the problem.